inspirational country. Take it away.
Humans of the internet, welcome to the Monday Night Comedy Show. Human. Hi, Andy. How are you?
Super. Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
Who else is in studio with us? Why, none other than Saint May of the Underground.
Woo!
Hello, Saint
Woo!
May. May has a new selfie clamp thing for her phone. So
Hi.
one of those
Hi.
LED lights. Just amazing. All right, Kruger. Speaking of amazing, shall we start this 608th Monday Night Comedy Show?
We should. However, we don't have any video on you. Like, we can't see you.
Oh, cool.
So, can I start the thing, please?
So nothing's really happening.
Yeah, because devices are not connected, but that's okay because we fly casual at the Monday Night Comedy Show, and despite my surroundings on my screen, this is fine. This is Whitey, the Monday Night Comedy Show, Comedy Bear, and we'd like to welcome you to the 608th Monday Night Comedy Show.
Beautiful.
So,
So no one really needs to see me. I'll just use this as a reel for my burgeoning voiceover career. Setting up the story. Are you being clever with the camera?
I'm being somewhat clever with the camera.
Culture Club of the Minneapolis Studio City. All right, what's happening next? Let's read a book. Hi, I'm Andy. By Kill the Bear. Now we're going to read a page from our Monday Night Comedy Show book club book, which is Picture Me Famous, about the middle Tanner daughter in TV's Full House. This is Picture Me Famous. It's based on the hit TV series, and we're reading a page a week, so don't read ahead in your home versions. But we've been doing this at least 28 weeks. It's upsetting, and there's no end in sight. But eventually, in about 4 years' time, we're going to finish the book, and then we'll sit down and kind of just chat about how it made us feel. Maybe open up a box of wine and just talk about, really not about the book, but about goings on in the neighborhood. All right, Kruger, is your arm getting sore?
No, I'm good, man.
All right, I hope you're ready to read Picture Me Famous, page 28, because Jason Kruger, you are the book club reader for the week.
By order of Joey, my sisters, the neighborhood, and the Dog Lovers Association of America, Stephanie replied glumly, I am not having a lesson. Well, don't get too upset, Danny said. It takes time to develop a talent. I know, Stephanie sighed, and that's only part of the problem. She hesitated, then pulled her English paper off her desk. Might as well get it over with. I have something to show you, she said to her dad, and held out the paper to him. Well, Danny said slowly, this is a surprise. I know, Stephanie dropped her chin into her hands. I'm sorry. I hope so, Danny replied, handing Stephanie back her paper. And I hope you'll take Miss Sims' advice. He smiled at her kindly and stood up. You're not going to give me a lecture? Stephanie's eyes opened wide with shock. I think you've realized your mistake, and if you've learned from it, there's no need for a lecture. Wow, do you mean it, Dad? Stephanie said, amazed. Wait till I tell Darcy and Allie how easy he let me off, she thought. Look, if you really want that lecture, I can still give it to you, Danny said. And then he began.
Oh my God. Outstanding work. Who just read Picture Me Famous, page 28. If you would like to read next week's page, which of course is 29, and Matt would have it, please just message us on Facebook, either on our page, you can just private message me, it doesn't matter. So, yes. What? Pointing at me and then pointing at a chair. You want me to go sit?
Yeah.
Okay. But I had more stuff here.
All right, everyone. Pardon us for the technical difficulties.
Okay. Well, you remake those.
Yeah, I'll bring you damn cookies.
Yeah. All right, so we're doing technical difficulties. It's like a circus. Well, oh dear, there they go. It's an abnormally long time where people are. I like the background you chose, Kruger. Thank you. This is fine. This is fine. All right. So do this. We're good? We're impressing all the new people out here at the Monday Night Comedy Show. We have two folks joining us who's never performed at the Monday before, which is pretty cool. So I'm pretty sure we have figured out the technical difficulties.
Except the coughing.
The whole night. Let's see. Yeah. All our out-of-town guests are like, well, good joke. I have to change all my jokes to the different regions now that the Monday Night Comedy Show is playing. No one laughed at that? Really? That's fine. You're going to laugh at your next performer. Hasn't been here in a couple weeks. Super happy to have him back. Everybody put your hands together for the one, the only, Mr. Mikey Crone.
How is my connection? Is it smoother than the show's been going? Anyone? Can you guys hear me all right, for real?
Yes.
I haven't done the show as myself in a very long time. Been performing as serial killer at large, and I think the lackluster nature of my performance today is just going to prove to everyone that I was born to write jokes about murdering children. So you guys, there's so many perverts in the news recently that I feel like I've become dangerously desensitized. I'll give you an example. There was a story on the radio where a guy was driving around, no pants on, pulling up to women. And when they got over to his car and they could see he had no pants on, he started shredding cheese onto his self, his thing. And my first thought was, nobody shreds their own cheese anymore. Like it would have been notably more trashy if he was just sprinkling pre-shredded from a bag. So I appreciate the artist approach. One time I told that joke and a woman was like, that dick gonna melt that cheese. And ever since that response, I felt self-conscious that there's just a lot of people with a lot warmer penises out there than me that are just melting cheese like fondue pots. But one of the most disturbing parts of those stories is that it's a guy, even if the story doesn't say it. Guys are always the pervs. We're always the worst in every phase of life. Like when I was a kid, my mom would do chores and she would just get them done thanklessly. But whenever my dad did anything, he had to arrogantly stare at what he just performed for 10 minutes with a beer. You just dominated that lawn, Dad. One time my dad built some shelves in our garage, and the way that he stared at them, you would have thought that he successfully built a better son. But dudes dudes are so trash. I was watching Cinderella with my daughter, and I mean, that guy's claiming he's in love with her, but his facial recognition is so bad that he has to bring a shoe with him. Because even if she says she was the one, he just doesn't want to end up with some slut that wears a size 6, you know? Anyways, yeah, I was thinking about it recently. If you go to a Rick Springfield concert, but you are accidentally in the restrooms during Jesse's Girl, do you just like walk back to your car? Or I'm gonna scratch that one off. So it's been a pretty great year for white entitlement. A lot of people think that white men are the most entitled species on Earth, but we are actually second. We're just ahead of number 3, that's sassy house cats, but we're still well behind girls out with friends on their birthday. And that is one phenomenon, like pre-COVID, that I've really missed, man, because girls could like burn down a building on their birthdays and it would just be assumed to be okay. One time I was walking through a bar and a girl took my hat right off my head, and I like politely asked for it back, and then all her friends surrounded her like drunk lawyers and were like, "It's her fucking birthday," and I just don't have that hat anymore. Do you guys think that John Benet Ramsey was ever like, "You guys can just call me John"? Sorry for that. Anyways, fuck Zoom shows. Anyways, I don't know if anyone else remembers the first time that they became sexually aroused, but mine was during the 1994 animated classic Aladdin. And it wasn't Aladdin and the monkey, although I would like to explore that angle, but it was at the end when now Jasmine's wearing red because she's Jafar's slave wife. But Aladdin is approaching from behind to rescue her. So she pretends seduces Jafar, and she like wraps her beard around his. She's like, "Your beard is so twisted," and I was like, "Whoa." And I think that first arousal carried with me in my adult psychology, because now I have a huge kink for girls that are with me but waiting for a better man to save them. But you guys, I've always considered myself a problem solver. And sometimes I think you can have a series of unrelated problems and find one common solution. So, for example, here's a few huge issues facing our world right now. Lions are starving in the Serengeti. They're becoming extinct. Lions. Second, there's lots of pedophiles in the world. And third, we have lots of Kmarts that closed down and now are just sitting there empty. And I think that we could combine all 3 problems and have the new hit show on television called Lions Hunting Pedophiles in Closed Down Kmarts. Now, I know the title needs work. I know the title needs work, but what a fun show to sit around with the family, and you could sort of like gauge their performances. Like, "Oh, shouldn't have run to the children's clothing section. That's too easy for the lion." But I've got one more problem that I solved recently. Some states have been toying with the idea of making it a crime to be caught gambling or trying to gamble while you're on any kind of government assistance like food stamps. And I say I'm on board, but instead of crimes or like jail time for these crimes, let's just take their food stamps and give them food stamp scratch-offs. It's all the fun of gambling, but you're okay. But you're playing for the chance to eat. Yeah. Did my sound go away there? Or?
No.
The joke was just that bad. Okay, good. All right. So yeah, maybe next time I'll get back to making jokes about killing young men. Thank you so much for the time today. I appreciate it.
Humans of the internet, give it up for Mikey Crone!
Mikey Crone! Thank you, Mikey. It's great to have you back on the show. I hope your quarantine is going well.
Thank you, Andrew. Hope yours is too, man.
It's great. It's great. All right. So, J Money the Mother Hawk and St. May, we have a graduation tonight. Our next comic has gone through all the treacherous hoops that is the Comic in Residence program here at the Monday Night Comic Show, and has produced 5 new minutes each week for the last 7 weeks. Tonight is our final and 8th week as Comic in Residence. It gives me great pleasure to give you the longest introduction I have done in the 13 and a half years of the Monday Night Comedy Show. Gotta make sure you're limber for stuff like this. You know. Your next comic is actually expecting super long, super detailed, super thought out, and as you can see, there's nothing on the back of this page. So we have the liquor license to do improv. Folks, put your hands together for Rebecca Wilson.
Yeah, the reason I'm in a bathtub is a few weeks ago you guys thought I was in the bathroom. So I just decided to do my last set in the bathroom. I don't know, it's 2021, we're doing Zoom shows, do comedy in a tub. What's stopping you? Like, eat Velveeta, murder someone, like no one's do what you want. Hi, you guys. Yeah, I don't know, like, bathrooms. I don't know. I think we all may have had a weird bathroom experience. Like when I was in high school, I was visiting London with my parents, and we went to Westminster Abbey, and I went into a bathroom there. It was unlocked. I opened the door. It was this man completely naked, just the back facing him, and he goes, "Hello!" And I toodalooed out of that loo, and I've never been more petrified, and I hate British men now. Like, I'm scared of them. I don't get it. A lot of girls or guys are like, "Oh my gosh, I love British guys. Their accents." And I'm like, yeah, but have you seen their faces? Bad news, but like my parents, they love British things. They watch The Crown. They watch BBC. I don't know. It's like when Caucasian boomers get older, they just yearn for the motherland. You just have to watch it, and my dad's like, "All right, I like it. It's history. Yeah, because I'm a man, and history is the only creative outlet I was allowed to have." And my mom, she loves it. She's like, "Ooh, it's like a soap opera with tiaras and light inbreeding." I don't know, just like classy inbreeding, like your third cousin, not your first, because that's way too Austrian for them. But not to get political, but I hate King Henry VIII. Don't like him. I don't know, like he divorced his first wife just to get with her best friend. I don't know. And that's why I don't have any friends that are hotter than me. Now, if you're my friend, you're like a 5 tops. Yeah. And I was watching History Channel, and I quote, "As Henry VIII grew older, he became moody, suspicious, and obese." And like honestly, like I don't know, we're all just marching to death a little heavier each day. I don't know, but it's like the new year, so all the diet culture ads are out, right? Like, ooh, you gotta do this, do that. Don't do anything, you guys. Don't fall victim. All the ads are like showing yogurt as if it's like a decadent treat. Like, okay, if my one pleasure in life is eating a strawberry shortcake Yoplait, just fucking push me off a bridge, you guys. It's done. You become that person in the office that's like, oh, Susan, how was your weekend? I ate 30 points of Weight Watchers. Like, whoa. Okay, I thought you had like surgery or something. And like you see those ads that's totally targeted to people trying to lose weight, and it's like, ooh, you can have this delicious brownie made for one. Ooh, so decadent and guilt-free, only 100 calories. Okay, so what? I don't know, I feel like this is like a lot of pressure to put on food scientists. Like I just picture this scientist in this bottom of this lab at General Mills, just like with a shaky hand and beaker, just like easy, easy. 101. Damn it. I guess no one will be hot anymore. No, I do like to exercise. I kind of like intense workouts when I do it. I like my workouts like I like my men. Just physically, emotionally, and mentally exhausting. I don't know. But I had a boyfriend once, and he's like, ooh, are you working out for me? Like, are you doing this for me? And I'm like, no, I am not doing this for you. Okay? I work out for one reason and one reason only, and that is for Chuck Norris. I'm going to fight Chuck Norris. I am training to KO Norris. Okay? And like, let's look at the stats. He is 80 years old. Okay? He's like 159 pounds. 5'10". He's just a little old man me. Like, I could take him. And you know that man is not taking his calcium. At all. He is a brittle boomer. And he's gotta go. I don't know. But I mean, everything's just kind of weight conscious. Like, I was watching football, and it's totally different for the gendered men and women, that spectrum. I was watching the NFL, and these sportscasters, they did this freeze frame on the defensive line, and they're like, ooh, weighing in at a total combined weight of 3,510 pounds. Whoa, man, look at all that beef. You can't talk about people that way. I don't care how much you're paying them. You can't do it. Imagine if they did that for women's sports. Like, all right, now we got the women's USA hockey team coming in on the rink at a total combined weight of, oh, I shouldn't say, but let's just say, oh, they don't shy away from bread. Oh, they probably use Dove soap. Oh, yeah, they actually eat things off their plate. Yeah, it's just not the same. But I had to get COVID testing to go back down to Atlanta for the holidays. And to do the saliva test, you can't eat or drink anything 30 minutes prior. So I have nothing left. I'm trying to fill up this tube. I felt like some guy like trying to donate semen. Like I just couldn't. They donate semen. It's not just sperm. It's semen. Anyway. So the only thing I could do was just think about a nice juicy steak. And then I thought of Willem Dafoe and a thong, and I was like, yeah. And got my juices going. Got it done, man. I found out my mouth is a squirter, you guys.
Oh, shit.
And you gotta work with what you got. I don't know. So some of you guys from Minneapolis, but during all this time with George Floyd, there's been a lot of other social issues kind of coming to the forefront. And with COVID, man, like some restaurants are getting canceled because they didn't handle their staff and because they aren't following COVID safety cleaning procedures and making employees unsafe. And I'm like, wow, man, what do canceled male comedians and restaurants have in common? They don't know how to apologize or properly stand up. I'll do this last little one. It's a little tag from the one from last week. So I don't know. I always try to get like a front desk job because I always done theater, so I like need a day job. And secretary work seemed like it would work. I'm a college educated person. Never get the job. Never get the job. And then my dad told me, he's like, well, Beck, I think they find you too young and attractive. They probably think that, it would be a bad thing and the husband, would want to cheat with you or something. Or you're just too attractive. And I'm like, really? Okay. So a bunch of insecure wives are keeping me from full-time plus benefits. Awesome. Awesome, guys. Dude, I don't want your old man. I got old man at home. All right,
You insulting the internet. Give it up for Rebecca Wilson.
Oh, so good. So good. Comic in residence. Her final week. Rebecca Wilson, we salute you. Thank you so much. You've done nothing but good in the 8 weeks that you've done comedy for this particular run of Comic in Residence. So one more time for Rebecca Wilson. First Comic in Residence of the evening. And we're not done by a damn sight, folks. We got, but before we bring in your next comic, who's a local here, from the Twin Cities. We just want to plug Rebecca's show, Virtual Comedy Club, coming up Wednesday, February 10th at 8 p.m. Central. And it's featuring Linda Ahrens, Jalen Russell, Khadija Cooper, and it's hosted by, one more time, for Rebecca Wilson and Andrew Wegleitner. So definitely something to, if you think we're doing following safety protocol here at Nano Taco Studios in North Minneapolis, they are taking it to the infinity and beyond, as it were, because think of that Dire Straits Money for Nothing music video with a computer animation, mixed with Lawnmower Man, mixed with an anime, and you'll get their show at the Virtual Comedy Club, which, seriously, mark your calendars, Wednesday, February 10th at 8 p.m. Central. It's a free show. All you have to do is follow the links on the event page. So check it out. There we go. Virtual Comedy Club, Wednesday, February 10th, 8 Central. Thank you, Rebecca. We will have you on in a few weeks, just doing a regular set. So, let's move on. One of my favorite comics here in the Twin Cities. We just finished up watching all of her Bitter Baker videos. Go to YouTube, look up The Bitter Baker, and subscribe and like all the videos. But our next performer is the heart and soul and star of The Bitter Baker. Put your hands, everybody, on the internet and in the studio for Tiffany Norton! Tiffany Norton, this is your theme song. Blah.
There's a theme song? There's a theme song? I want a theme song.
That's it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had to move my mic. Look at what I put up for you, baby. Andy. Comedy show tonight.
Oh my God. That's cool.
God damn it. I keep hitting mute on my new mic. Okay. I don't know the whole logistics yet. Okay. One more time for Rebecca.
Yeah.
And don't talk shit about that virtual mic show. I've done it twice. The virtual comedy is great and it's bizarre, but it's also exactly what all of you gamers have been dreaming about for years. You are in a world where no one understands you and all you can hear is your own voice. I'm just saying. Yes. Congratulations to Andrew and Rebecca.
Yeah.
All right. So what am I going to talk about? I have to talk about this. This is kind of amazing. You don't really know who your friends are or like how people are going to react to certain things until you get yourself into a pandemic, correct? A woman who was a leader of mine, she is someone who had a ton of influence over me when I was a young business person before I started, becoming debaucherous and a stand-up comedian. I used to like be an upright citizen and do commercial banking and residential banking and mortgages and ran a real estate franchise. Okay. Enough self-indulgence. My mentor, I just found out she has a husband who is 10 years older than her. She's in her early 60s. The lottery came out for the COVID shot. She chose to protect herself. They got one shot. There was one lottery. It doesn't matter which one it is in the house, just where you live. She put herself down. Yeah. Fuck him is like the subtle message, right? He's 10 years older. He's got a ton of pre-existing conditions. She has nothing at all. No. She's thinking straight insurance, as I would as well. I mean, let's be practical. Let's think about this, right? Like, who's risky right now? Like, who can we lose? Who do we have to keep? I mean, come on, let's be honest. I mean, it's a triage kind of a situation at this point, and the Germans had a great word for that, Schadenfreude. Are you guys familiar with Schadenfreude? Yeah. I know I've spoken of this subject before at the Monday Night Comedy Show, but Schadenfreude, the Germans, Americans, we like to be really proud and think we do everything the best. The Germans have some of the best language because they invented a term, Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude basically means, if you translate it into English, it's a compound word that means harm, joy. That's the joyful experience you have when something bad happens to someone that you don't like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, perfect.
It's a pretty good word.
Yeah.
I guess is my point. So whenever I see one of those stories about like a couple that's been together for forever, and then like the husband dies, and then 2 days later the wife dies, and they're like, oh my God, they just couldn't live without each other. And it's like, no, Schadenfreude. She just wanted to watch him die. That's why she got the COVID shot first. Whatever, fine. Okay. Moving on to something lighter, although I'm almost out of time. So I'm in a hell of shit at work now because I accidentally opened a phishing email.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but they're really weird about it now, and they're like covert about it because they actually disguise it like a picture of a fish. Like, I thought I was just looking at a dude's catch, just up on Mille Lacs, it was a good weekend, it's a lead up to Ilpout and fucking phishing email. All right, never mind. That was a horrible idea. I don't know why the fuck I said that. Okay. I had something else. I did. Oh shit. Okay. So the reason why I was like, I had my camera on mute and my phone on mute and my auto on mute, and I'll get off after this, because this is how bad it is when you are in a pandemic, you live alone, and all you have is television. Again, just like in 4th and 5th grade when you were a latchkey kid, to soothe you. I was watching The Bachelor. Yeah. Not my best option. Although I will say it was fabulous to see that one of the tortures they put these women under was dressing them up each in a teddy bear costume, and then they had to run across logs like they do at lumberjack days in Stillwater.
Okay, yeah.
There is no punchline to that.
Just good.
But there is an interesting note. I know that everybody on this show has not been that desperate for a date yet.
Close.
And you never will, because everybody on the show and everybody who frequents this space is always fucking amazing, and they always need to be themselves. And I love you all. I'm good. No, I mean it. Don't fucking change. Well, they can't change us anyway. They tried.
You're wonderful.
Unsuccessfully.
Humans of the internet, give it up for Tiffany Norton.
Oh, yeah. Tiffany, that's the stuff, Norton. Every time you're on the Monday, it pleases me. And once again, we want to thank you for letting us show so many episodes of your Bitter Baker Shorts videos. I can't stress enough, folks, go to YouTube and please, please, please subscribe to the Bitter Baker so you can see all the great videos that have been produced and get notification of upcoming videos. As they come out. So one more plug for Tiffany. She and Miss Shannon Paul produce Comedy Through the Chaos. It's every Sunday night at 5 p.m. Central, where they do topics, quizzes, items of the day. They run the gambit. So please check out Comedy Through the Chaos, featuring Miss Shannon Paul and Tiffany Norton. One more time for Tiffany. Our Bitter Baker. Now, you might remember Rebecca Wilson. She's the one who said, my mouth is a squirter earlier tonight on broadcast, the internet. So that's there forever and ever and ever. However, we have many, many more comic in residences starting up tonight and doing their second week, and so on over the next few weeks. We're going to keep meeting all sorts of people from all over the country. Tonight, our show is represented by not only Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Chicago, Illinois, Denver, Colorado, and Fairbanks, Alaska, BT Dubs. Yeah, Fairbanks. We go to way, way north. We're going to get people from LA. We're working on some sets from people from across the Atlantic Ocean. We got some people interested from the UK, from Germany, from Italy. It's going to be just freaking bangarang, and you're going to love it. So speaking of bangarang, your next performer doing her second week as comic in residence, and that's writing 5 brand new minutes of material just for this crowd, just for J Money the motherfucking Hawk Kruger Kaka, just for Saint May the Underground, for Mercy, for Kat, for you, for me. It's they might never perform it again, but by God, they wrote 5 minutes, and writing 5 minutes fucking sucks. So it's really, really hard to do, and you might think, oh my God, I watched so much The Cosby Show or Big Bang Theory that I could do stand-up no problem, because I can write jokes just like that. And I'm witty, like the writers who write for the Gilmore Girls, really fast-paced. No, you're not. Your wit is bogging you down. And we applaud all of our comic in residences doing 5 brand new minutes. Take it away from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Welcome back to the Monday, Brittany Alexis! Woo!
Hi, I'm so excited to be here. I hope you guys are having good days. I had a weird day today. I think I'm officially allowed to say I'm allergic to exercise, and I'm going to use that as an excuse why I don't do it now. I was jump roping today and I actually broke out in hives. I wish that was a joke. I'm going to file that under things that definitely actually happened. I'm going to tell you right now, you don't know shame until you're sitting on a hospital bed while other people are actually sick and your hives are going away. It's embarrassing. But yeah, I'm living my best life right now because of the mask. Because you can catfish people in person. It is great. It's like fantastic. I was like walking down the street the other day and this guy approaches me and he pulls his mask down to show me his face, and he's like, "You've got a great smile." And he tries to get my Instagram. And it's just amazing to me that people are literally willing to risk it all for half of a face, you know? Like, you can schmingle. You street schmingle down here, and this guy's like, "I don't even care, man. I will breathe in the air." It is wild. We're getting really crazy. I was walking home one day, this guy started following me, and that should have scared me, but I was annoyed. I was so annoyed I hid behind a bush until he left. So it's odd times. I'm dating this guy. I've been dating him for like 8 months, and honestly, I could have a mustache and he would know nothing about it. And I'm not going to do anything to change that. You know, I'm saving a lot of money on unnecessary waxings. I'm not saying I have a mustache, but you never know. It's kind of crazy. One thing that I've noticed about the pandemic that I didn't expect, but I think that's because I'm naive, is how it's affected like the nation's libido. People are wearing it on their sleeves. It's insane. It's like obviously a lot of people are like certain online forums are going to be making a lot of money, and like OnlyFans is blowing up. All these places are blowing up, but the places I didn't expect to be affected by this are like the marketing teams for like Dole fruit snacks. I was watching TV with my brother. We were watching like Blue's Clues at 2 in the afternoon on a Tuesday, and there was a Dole fruit snacks commercial. And I'm gonna say that again: Dole fruit snacks, like the little cups that you get. And in the commercial, there's a man and a woman sitting on a love seat, and the man's like got his arm around her like real hot, and he's like, "Hey, are you in the mood for a fruit cup?" And then she's like, "Oh, I'd love a fruit cup." Right? And then there's a little girl on the couch. She's like, "Oh, I want a fruit cup too." And the commercial ends and he's just like, we've been eating a lot of fruit cups, we just haven't been having a lot of fruit cups. Which again, it's Dole fruit snacks, which is the least sexy aphrodisiac. Just gonna say that. Least sexy. I mean, there's nothing sexy about it's fruit juice, but you can't identify which fruit it is. Even if it's made of an orange, you're like, it's fruit. Fruit in the same way Kool-Aid is fruit punch. So odd. It's like very odd times. It seems like the one industry that has not been affected as deeply by this is the makeup industry. And I think that's because they already started out on a level 10 anyway. I don't know if you guys are familiar with makeup brands, but they are aggressive in their marketing. And I don't mean like the emails where they're like, "Hey, sexy, I know you were flirting with me back there." And it's talking about like a lipstick you had in your shopping cart. I mean like NARS. NARS is a makeup brand, and they have a lipstick named Orgasm, which I'm assuming it's because they're like, the only way some ladies are going to get it is if you buy this product. So let's settle it that way, right? But there's no middle ground. Lipsticks, like in particular, are named so aggressively. Like you'll start off with Peachy Keen, and then the next lipstick decided like, "Take me out back and have your way with me, red." Like, wait a minute. We skipped a couple of steps here. Like, I didn't even know my name. I remember, and the thing is, like, I'm not exaggerating. I'm not. There was a company who named a lipstick, and this is actually really bad. They named it Underage Red, and they got a lot of flack for it, which they 100% deserved. And they were like, "We don't get the backlash. Maybe don't name your lipstick something that would make Chris Hansen blush." Like, I came here to buy lipstick, not to be asked, "Do you want to explain to me what you're doing?" No, insanity. But the thing is, I mean, like, I'm looking for lipstick for my job interview, not like my interview on the casting couch. Can you please like calm it down a second? And like the next thing you know, I'm feeling very uncomfortable in aisle 7 of Target on the cameras. So I just want them to calm it down a little bit. Like, these places are a little bit out of control. I think the only reasonable explanation for this is that their marketing department has to consist of one guy who's like a mix between Schmeagol and Quasimodo. He has no idea what lipstick is. He has no idea. And they're like, "Dude, you got to come up with something." And he's just heard this adage, sex sells. So he's just like, "I know what I'm going to do. And I'm going to make things as arousing as possible." But again, he has no idea what human connection is, because like he's only ever seen Twitter porn because his only friend is like this weird priest who refuses to play for Netflix. And so he has no idea what actually, you know, appeals to people. So he's like, "I'm going to come up with like some really risque X-rated names in order to make people more comfortable with our lipstick," which again, it doesn't. Because if he did know what would appeal to women, it'd be something like, "I already got your iced coffee brown." Maybe something like Clean Apartment Blue. Something like, "I'm actually single, not just telling you that on Facebook." Green, I don't know. You know? So those are the things I've been thinking about. This pandemic is turning things on its head, but I hope it starts reforming some of these things, because that's, like I said, it's a little bit out of control. That's all I have for you guys. You've been great. Have fun tonight. So thanks for having me.
You've been jumping in the next round with Brittany
Alexis, comic in residence. Yeah. That was her second of 6 weeks. You guys, 6 weeks of 5 brand new minutes of material from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. One more time, Brittany Alexis, thank you so much. Yeah. Woo! Coming up, because we can't stop the flow of this show because we run it so well, The captain of this ship is not under the influence. So
Who's the fucking captain then?
from what? Who's
Never mind. Just
it's
keep
more of a
talking.
collective than a like a hierarchy of the oceans.
I didn't know you could derail a ship, but we did it.
I can derail anything, Jason Kruger. Thank you very much. Hey, and no one from the studio heard that. Excellent. All right. Week 2 of 6 as well from Chicago is not Chicago is. Put your hands together. Katie Zane, comic in residence. Week 2 of 6. Woohoo!
Hey y'all, super excited to share this with you. The first thing I want to talk about though, okay, so I have suffered from chronic pain since I was 19. I have multiple sclerosis. I in fact suffer from 11 diseases. Don't have time to talk about all of them. And today I took a flourish into a field I've never been, which is the icy hot menage of different things that they have available for your back. And so I tried a patch. And it's been on for about 2 hours, and I don't know where the hot is. So far, it's just icy. Just icy. Just icy and wet and weird. I feel like I am being licked by a ghost on my hair. It's really, I don't like it. I feel like I smell like someone's like kink for old people. You know, like if I just like sort of look over my shoulder, I'm just like smacked in the face with like that, you know, that like cleaner smell, like mixed with camphor. It's just awful. I'm really glad I've never spent money on these products before. And I really feel like Icy Hot is duping people. Because again, there is no hot. So how have they been selling this to people for this long? Like, I don't know. So I am almost at a month of quitting cigarettes.
Nice.
Thank you. And here's the thing about quitting cigarettes. I think there needs to be a little bit more information that is more, I don't know, readily known. I think it's really well known that people become dicks when they quit cigarettes. Like, it's well known that people are jerks, and they have really short fuses. They're going to fucking bite your head off. But they don't tell you that right after that, you want to kill yourself. Like, right after that. Like, you're like, I would like to die now. Thank you very much. Because I can't smoke cigarettes. But no one tells you that that's happening. Like, I've known my whole life that I was going to get mad. Had no idea that I was going to want to be, like, not of this world anymore. You know? Was not prepared for that. Was not prepared for that kind of sadness. Okay, so here's a little secret about me. Not such a real big secret. Is I have, like, an obsession with the show Grey's Anatomy. I have an obsession. It's bad. And to the point where I've asked my best friend if they would get me a cameo from the website, the Cameo website, for my birthday in February. And the thing about the Cameo website is that I really approve of it because it's either like the greatest side hustle ever invented, ever for actors. Like that guy from The Office made like several $1 million or something just from doing cameos. It is the best side hustle if you're famous enough. Like you don't even have to be very famous to have a cameo. Like you can just be like, you can have like guest starred on like 4 shows and you can have a cameo. And it's amazing. And the thing was, I was poking around at the site being like, well, how much are things? Is this a reasonable thing to ask people for? You know, like, am I being that person? And I was poking around and I was reading reviews and I realized that all the reviews were written by moms. About how happy their teenager was to hear from the cast member from Grey's Anatomy. And I was like, fuck me, this is a weird place to be now. Do I have my friends lie and say that this is for my kid? Like, do I say it's for me? Like what kind of line are we at? Oh gosh. Well, you know what? Speaking of mothers, I do a lot of the buy nothing. There's the buy nothing movement where you give away your stuff and you get other stuff that people give away. And it's really an awesome thing. But there's this phenomenon that happens where mothers will post and be like, it's for my daughter. And I'm like, Sharon, we know you're a hoarder, okay? We know. Just say it's for you. Have a me day. Like, But it's just this weird thing where people are like, it's for my kid. It's for my kid. Totally for my daughter. My daughter and I just like the same exact things. We just like the same things. It's so weird. But yeah, no, it's. So I was in AA for 2 years. I was in Alcoholics Anonymous for 2 years, and I am not an alcoholic at all. I've tested the fields. I've tried every drug, not addicted. But I do like to share, I do like to share and say my name repetitively. So I think my pivot to comedy was probably for the best. Mostly for the alcoholics, I think a lot of people that end up in AA that don't belong there, we belong in therapy instead. So like I'm not encouraging anybody to leave a program. But I am saying like I needed to stop like quite frankly harassing these poor recovering alcoholics with my bullshit. Like it was I was like, I need to go. Like I don't belong here. I'm gonna go have a nasty margarita for my first drink for no reason whatsoever. But like, and that was true. I did have my first drink. It was nasty margarita on a St. Patty's Day. When you haven't drank for like 2 years, you don't know what you're doing anymore. So you just make weird choices. You're like, it's red, it's fine, it sounds great. A friend of mine was telling me we were talking about being clumsy people, and I explained that I am very good at falling, which in that I have never had a serious head injury. I should have had a serious head injury. I have been hit by a car. I have flipped over my handlebars like 15 times. And I have like run into a tree with my head like that. I've been in a snowboarding accident. Like I should have had head injuries that were very severe. But I am amazing at like protecting my cranium when I fall down. It's a weird skill to have, but I guess I'm happy for it. It's like the universe knew that I'd already have MS, right? Like I'd already have multiple sclerosis. Like they already have brain damage. They don't need any more. Let's protect them from more head injuries. So I'm very grateful for that. I'm going to get out of here in this last joke. And that is, I do this really weird thing where I think I'm the only person to have ever had a particular feeling. And I will give an example. I think that I am the only person who's ever been flaky and therefore feel that shame and guilt from being flaky. Like I said, I participate in those Find Nothing groups and I'll be like, yes, I would like this thing and I will totally pick it up. And there's been at least like 6 things that I haven't picked up. And I was feeling like guilt, like I was the only person to flake on somebody on Facebook ever. I'm the only one. I'm the only one on Facebook who's ever lied a little bit. That's never happened before. But my favorite one is that when I was younger, in my 20s, I used to emphatically say, and my friends would make fun of me, I would emphatically say, I really don't like incest. Like, I really have a problem with incest. Like, I really have a problem with incest. Not like all of you. Like, I really have a problem with incest. Like, really, I'm the one. I'm the hero. I care more than everybody else. And I would like to address, before I get off the stage, this weird thing that my hair has been doing the whole time. I don't know what that is. I've been Katie Zane. Thank you so much.
Katie Zane, everyone. Comic in Residence doing their second of 6 weeks. So we will see Katie next week. Let's keep that party train going. We've been we've been seeing people from the east, back east, from Pittsburgh, from Chicago. Let's bring it on back home to a magical place called St. Louis Park. It's in Minnesota, and for all of our out-of-town friends, that was funny. It's a local reference, and everybody's watching the show going, I fucking know that. I know that.
Probably like close the screen.
Yes, they're not. They have their phone on one of those clam things that I got made for Christmas. 50 yards away. It's just a little speck.
Yep.
Sad. My God. Your next comic doing his first week as comic in residence, one of 6. He is the owner and proprietor of the Art of Bombing podcast, which we'll talk about a little bit after his set. Put your hands together for your next comic in residence, Dan Bublitz! Dan!
Yeah, thank you for having me. Oh, great to be here. As Annie said, my name is Dan Bublitz Jr. That is not a stage name. My last name is actually Bublitz. It often gets pronounced as Bublitz, but it doesn't matter whether you pronounce it as Bublitz or Bublitz. I look like my name sounds. I'm also a junior, and there's a lot of people. It's not like it's my thing. Like I'm the only person that's a junior or a second or a third or a fourth and yada, yada, yada down the line. But I do think that's a lot to put on a child, because when you name your child after you, you're like trying to pass down a legacy. And it's a lot of pressure, but I also feel like you need to be a certain age before you can pass down a legacy. Like, yeah, like my dad was 18 when my mom was 17 and my dad was 18 when they had me. Oh, wow. Like he was still a child. There was no legacy yet. Which I feel like that's a lot to put on me because also, who knows what he was going to do? He could have turned out to be a murderer and then I'm stuck with that name. And I think about that. I'm like, that's a lot of pressure to put on somebody. I don't know. Because then I'd have to follow in his shoes. And, and people are really into serial killers. I don't know. Maybe my life would have been better. I don't know. But I also think it's really lazy, too, to name somebody after you as a parent. I mean, granted, he was still a kid, so I get why he was lazy. But their first option, actually, they were going to name me after my grandfather, and which I'm not sure if that would have been a good name either, but because my grandfather's name was Clarence. However, I do feel like I would look like a Clarence, so maybe it could have been fitting. But I don't know. It's a weird thing to me. Speaking of my dad, actually, he called me the other day, which for me is really weird. Like my dad and I, we get along fine. We have a great relationship, but my family, we don't talk. We don't like just randomly call each other out of the blue to have a conversation. So if I get a phone call from my dad, I immediately panic because that means either my brother got arrested again or my grandma probably passed away because she's really old. So those are the 2 calls I'm expecting from my dad when he calls. But the other day he called me and I was like, oh God, I panicked. And I picked up the phone and it turned out he just accidentally called me, like butt dial, which was a good relief. But I think about that. Like now, we live in a day and age where you can just accidentally call somebody. Like when I was a kid, we had landlines and most people had landlines. My family didn't have a landline. We were poor and that was not a priority for us. But I think about like how hard it would actually be to accidentally call somebody with a landline, like if we had a landline and we had like a push button phone, I think the only way I would ever accidentally be able to call one of my friends is if when my dad got mad, he was just like bashing my head into the phone. Okay, so too dark? Too dark. Okay, that's all right. We got, we'll work on it. We got 5 weeks. 5 more weeks after this. Maybe I'll find a way to lighten child abuse up. I don't know. We'll see. I'll talk about this. When I was a kid, I could predict the future, but only if I was reading a choose-your-own-adventure novel. Okay, a few people got that. All right, good. And I think the choose your own adventure novels are very scary when you're 12. Because think about that. I'm 12, and if I make the wrong decision, the wrong ending could be with me just dying or growing up to go to college for business administration. Oh, wait, that's actually my reality. Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe I should have picked the death. I'll leave you guys with this final thought. A benefit of being bald is when somebody says, get a haircut and get a real job, I'm already one step ahead. That's going to be my time. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Where the internet, give it up for Dan Booblets.
Dan Booblets, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm one of those people. Humans of the internet. I'm sorry. Damn it. I try not to do the ladies and gentlemen. I've been so good these last few weeks. One more time, Dan Booblets. Comic in Residence, week 106. You'll see him next week with 5 more new minutes of material. But he does run a podcast. It's called the Art of Bombing podcast. You can go to artofbombing.com or send him an email saying, hey, I'm a comic and I would like to be on your podcast. Send an email to theartofbombing@gmail.com. Put all this stuff in the comments so you can click on it. But the Art of Bombing podcast, we showed an episode here at the Monday a few weeks ago, the one with Wendy Maybury. But Dan has been doing the podcast with other comics like Andy Erickson, which her episode starts tomorrow, goes live tomorrow. Dusty Slay, Miss Shannon, and many, many more. So one more time, the Art of Bombing podcast from Mr. Dan Booblets. Yeah. Keep that applause going. From Denver, Colorado, where the weed is free and the mountains are mountainy. Denver, 1 mile up. What do you see up there, Denver? Looking down on us from your magic city in the sky. Man in the High Castle, yes. Thank you, Kat. Week 1 of 6 as Comic in Residence. Welcome, Mr. Jake Holmes! Yeah. Jake, welcome to the Monday!
Yes, fantastic. Let's talk about it. Sweaters. It's on everybody's mind. Sweaters are super gross, right? I mean, it's like, that salty discharge you get. Let's name an ugly shirt after that. And turtlenecks. Oh my goodness. If I wear a turtleneck, it feels like I'm being strangled by somebody with a conscience. They're doing it, but their heart is really not in it. Oh man. Oh. And sweatpants, even worse. That's the worst thing I want to think about when I think about pants is the sweaty parts. Are they made out of sweat? Are they made with sweat in sweatshops? I don't care. I'm not for it. Oh my goodness. My wife, she came back shopping and she got a low-cut top. For me, it was a V-neck. She likes it when I show a little bit of the goodies, a little man cleave, as it were. It's interesting. You see sometimes you see cool guys, Steve McQueen and Steve Jobs. Basically, if your name's Steve and you're cool, you wear a sweater, right? That's a thing, and they look cool wearing sweaters, but I know they do not look cool putting the sweater on. You can't look cool putting a sweater on. You're like, where's the neck hole? You look like Kermit the Frog, just running around stage. Cardigans. Those are smart guy sweaters. They don't make you look smarter. They make you look like you think you're smarter, I guess. I don't know. I'm just upset that they don't come in a 5X like I would need. I guess not a lot of offensive linemen read poetry. The 5X cardigan market not super strong. I can only get a sweater in a sweater vest. Like, all companies have agreed, we're not making the sleeves for this guy. You know, that's just way too much material. I bet you only his torso is chilly anyway. All right, fun. That was a lot of sweater jokes. We're moving on to the Red Cross. I know it's on everybody's mind. The Red Cross is incredibly poorly named. Like, you know that company that helps out in times of disaster? Let's name it Red Cross. Red like blood. And cross like the ancient form of execution. You know that thing that they used to kill God? Yeah, let's call it after that. Oh, their symbol really doesn't look like a cross, especially like a Catholic cross, if you're familiar with the Catholic cross. I remember the first time I saw a Catholic cross, I was like, who's that guy on it? What's going on with that? I had no idea, because, I mean, it's a pretty important part of the story that Jesus kind of came down off of it. I mean, they know that part, right? They've heard of Easter. It's not just bunnies. Oh, man. The Red Cross looks more like a plus sign. I guess they wanted to be more positive. That's a stupid joke. I'm going to move on. All right. My mother-in-law has a corn problem. She's just awful at eating corn. Just a really negative experience being in her presence when she's eating corn. It's like she's chomping on it. It's like she's in a denture commercial. Like, see? It's just really unpleasant. But the first time I had dinner with my mother-in-law, I wasn't married yet, and she will go over to her house. She gets this like giant bushel of corn. I didn't know bushels were an actual unit. Giant she's lifting with her legs, drops it. We each get like 8 ears of corn. Like, this is way too much corn. What is happening on this? But it's like a year's supply. But they have this little device that takes a stick of butter and turns it into like a lip gloss thing that they, rub it on the corns. It is just buttery, corny ridiculously. But my mother-in-law speaks nonstop. She has never stopped talking in her life. I actually did a game where I would try to count how long it went between her speaking. I got to 1 Mississippi. That's it. Wow. Just constantly talking. So she's chewing the corn and talking constantly. I don't realize ain't nobody listening to this woman. She's chomping on the corn. Turns out she started choking. Oh no. Yeah. And nobody noticed. Because everybody in her family have so tuned her out that even her choke, and I'm thinking, am I going to have to squeeze this woman to get this corn out? She survived. Anyway, thanks, guys. There's my...
Give it up for Big Jake Owens.
And she was about to pop, but she lived. One more time for Jake Ho. His first week as comic in residence. Welcome to the Monday Night Comedy Show family, where we look out for each other and help each other move, and always have a warm futon waiting for you if you ever come to my town. That's my impersonation of, was that Orville Redenbacher mixed with Pepper Charm Guy mixed with Garrison Keillor mixed with Gordon Lightfoot. I don't know why, Gordon Lightfoot just popped in my head.
Okay, that happens to all of us.
Does it?
Probably.
You know what doesn't happen to all of us? Sometimes performers at the Monday Night Comedy Show don't have enough money to pay for their Netflix monthly subscription. You can help change that. Make it so they're not using their ex's old password from 6 months ago. Nothing sadder than that. Or even worse, using your ex's parents' password when you broke up 6 months ago. Venmo.com/Monday Night Comedy Show, or if you use Cash App, we just downloaded the Cash App. It's like for cash, and the Department of Redundancy. It's like saying automatic teller machine.
Yeah, buddy. It's okay.
Why do you always you react to everything I say like I'm a patient somewhere?
I think it's the school job. It's getting to me.
You
It's
are.
just like, cool, you're talking, but we need to move on.
Mhm.
And then, like, my day job is substitute teacher.
I mean, I am. I should probably wear a helmet. I'm so like everywhere. I don't, yeah. Like these lamps. I had 15
They're
minutes
meant to
planned
contain you.
on just talking about these because they reminded me of the We Are the World music video where they're all sitting in front of a microphone.
Yeah.
That's what these lights
Doesn't it
represent.
remind you of poetry, that video? And how much you love poetry?
I like what you're trying to do. You're trying to regain control of this show that has clearly derailed. But
Hey, those are called Edison light bulbs.
these are Edison light bulbs. Thank you for coming back to the distraction cast. These are Edison light bulbs.
You know who's not a dick like Edison was?
Nikolai Tesla. Let's hear it for science, everyone. You know what? Believe in yourself if you're a scientist. Don't believe in your ability to steal from other scientists. That's just bad form. I was talking about Cash App. I never even got to the Cash App. $MNCS 69. Put that on the screen. That's right. I am how old? Well, I'm in my early 40s. I've actually used 10-10-3-2-1 to save 20% on long distance. Should have gotten a better laugh, you sons of bitches. I hate you and I hate the show. But before I end it all, I would like you to put your hands together for your next performer, your final performer of this, the 608th Monday Night Comedy Show from Fairbanks, Alaska, the poet laureate of the Monday Night Comedy Show, Mr. Michael Schaefer!
Hey, thank you. Thank you. All right. What a fun night. What a great bunch of comedians. I really got a kick out of everyone's performance tonight. And I do remember We Are the World and that record-breaking video. Just they brought a whole lot of artists together, and I guess the first artist that came to my mind when you mentioned it, Andy, was Bob Dylan, because he's got that distinct voice, and it's a choice we're making, saving our lives. It's true. We make a better day. It's you and me. I think I drifted there into Joe Cocker a little bit, but that's me. Joe won't mind. Well, I'm here to talk about. I wrote or I made a kid's book, a coloring book, and this stemmed from. I've got a niece and a nephew. They're like 6 years old and 9 years old. And I wasn't happy with any of the bedtime books or the activity books that they had lying around the house when I visited, and so I wrote one that's shorter and funnier, and it has stuff for them to do, and it frees up more of my time. So it's called The Lazy Butt Coloring Butt, and it's a read aloud book with activity. Because I'm a lazy butt. Normally it would have activities, plural. It's got one activity. So I'm going to walk you through a couple of pages here. It opens up, I use 3 quotes. I quote Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Agatha Christie, and Metallica. And we'll jump right in. It's like a bunch of humorous couplets that some are geared towards the adults that read them to their youngsters or their nieces, nephews. Maybe it's the neighbor kid that you're forced to babysit. But it goes through the alphabet with couplets and it gives them stuff to do. A is for the abyss. There is none more black, like a Metallica album's awesomest, darkest track. See, there you go. You get a black crayon and you go to town on that whole page. You work that black crayon down to a worthless nub is what you do. Yeah. You don't have to stay inside the lines. You just go. Oh, nope. If you still see some surface of the paper beneath that, your kid's not done. Keep on coloring. B. B is for bologna, some stinky slab of beefy brownish pinkish red tucked between 2 slices of buttered bread, or a silly hat if you put it on your mama's head. There you go. And it says at the bottom, that's bologna. See, I've got some of these already colored in for you. So see, look at the next page. You recognize that illustration? It's the same circle. It's the same circle that I drew. I just made it smaller. Same illustration. Crafting and coloring a curvy, complex, creative shape like an oval, globe, or sphere? Nope. C is for a common circle, chilling right over here. And you just use a different color than bologna. If your bologna is pink and brown, you chill out the circle with a different color. I use blue on this one. All right. D. Here's the activity. D is for duct tape. This dashing fixer-upper can be any color, but hey, the most diligent doses are just plain gray. And there's actual duct tape. Look at the majesty of that Alaskan duct tape. That holds half the stuff in my house together. You send your kid, you send your nephew, you send your niece to go get some duct tape in the house. They spend half an hour just looking for duct tape to begin with, and then when they find it, you have them tape this page together, and they're winding down then. They're close to bedtime. E. Oh, look at this. E. You recognize that illustration? I got a patent on this one. It's the same illustration from previous pages. That's how you get to see how smart your kid is. E is for E.T., an extraterrestrial who loves to explore, examine, and roam, elevating in front of his full moon, but now he's escaped back home. So he's gone. You just missed him. He just flew out of the picture. You could draw in an ET, I suppose. Oh, F, we're getting to the F words now, but it's a kid's book. F is for Firefly in a futuristic Ferrari. Coloring them would have been a blast. I tried to draw them. I'm feeling sorry, but they were both so ferociously fast. And look, boom! They sped right off the page. They were too fast. Too fast for me to draw. Hovering above the graveyard, giving midnight their most. G is for the grace of this invisible ghost. It's invisible, get it? You can't see it on the page because it's a ghost. It's invisible. What crayon do you use for an invisible ghost? All right. H is for, Andy, you'll appreciate this because I know you try in earnest with the whole humans of the internet and the ladies and gentlemen. I try to be mindful of that too. H is for 100. That's 100. Can you write that number here? Hooray! You're my hero, or heroine, or cool kid, or handy dandy harbinger of the handsomest 100. So it's kind of gender fluid. You can be for, if they prefer he or she or they or them. It doesn't. You don't have to be. Yeah, it's all over the place. So it's not just for heroes. It's for heroine or whatever pronoun they prefer, whatever they want to use. I is for isthmus. Let's say that all together. It's a fun word. Isthmus. Isthmus. All right. Isthmus. One more time. Isthmus. I is for isthmus, which is a narrow strip of land connecting 2 bigger bodies where more individuals can stand. It's different than the circle, right? It's a different illustration. Oh, and look, there's the firefly. That's what we call a callback. There's the firefly from the F word page. All right, he moves along. J is for Cup of Joe. Here's an aerial view. Do you enjoy your jittery jolt of coffee black too? And so if you got anything, it's the same circle, but just a little nipple there on the end.
It's better than you point it out every time.
Yeah. And so if you have anything left of that black crayon, you just work it down to nothing. Otherwise, you could use brown, or you could swirl in some cream if you want. You could do that. Here, I'll leave you with K. You ready for K? Yeah. And that's where you say K. Let's everyone. I want to hear everyone say K. K. K is for knockwurst. Forgive the pun. It is a lazy butt drawing, but it's not the worst one. It gets worse and worse on the phone. There are words that sound the same, but they're spelled differently. And it looks like it's a big smiley face. It looks like a cucumber, maybe. But it's brown. It's not a brown cucumber. It's a sausage. And yeah, and that's K. And I'll leave the rest of it's if you think that book that you read at the beginning of the Monday Night Comedy Show is a page turner, this is where it's at. Yeah. So that's my time. Thanks for getting through the first half of the alphabet with me, and have a great night.
Michael Schaefer from Fairbanks, Alaska! Our poet laureate of the Monday Night Comedy Show. He has 3 other books. The most recent was a book of just haikus based on the greatest artist of the world, Prince, and it is a fantastic thing that you should purchase. But the newest coloring book, I just bought mine today. I sent $15 via Venmo to Michael Schaefer, and he's going to personalize it and send it to my home from Fairbanks. So hopefully he does some coloring for me. So thank you. One more time, Michael Schaefer. Yeah!
Andy, you think the circle will be in it?
I hope to God the circle is in it. I hope. And you notice that he said it was Alaskan duct tape?
Oh.
It makes it hey, you know.
It's rough up there.
It does. They get so rough they have to pay you to live there. So you can buy lots of duct tape and patch your house with it. So speaking of patching my house, aka my heart, this is a great segue, guys. My heart bursts with pride for all of our comic in residence who performed tonight 5 brand new minutes. We had at least 20 minutes of new material, folks, just for you at the Monday. Next week, we're going to introduce some more comic in residence doing their first week, starting their 6-week long journey. So if you want to be a part of it, just message us, mncs@gmail.com, or just shoot us a message on our Facebook page or send me a private message. Doesn't matter. We will get you on the show as soon as possible. All you need is a decent internet. If you had a good time tonight, make some noise on the internet. And some of those little potatoes with the little fingers on them. They say it's clapping, but it doesn't look like clapping. They're little potatoes. Lots of potatoes tonight. Good. Thank you, everybody who's watching, everybody who's commenting. If you do have the means, send us a Venmo. We'll get those tips out to the performers tonight. Let's thank them all. In order of appearance, Mikey Crone. Thank you, Mikey. Rebecca Wilson. Her final week as comic in residence. Tiffany Norton, a.k.a. the Bitter Baker. Woo! Brittany Alexis from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Katie Zane from Chicago, Illinois. Dan Bublitz, St. Louis Park, SLP. And Dan Hovis from Denver, Colorado. Closing it up was Michael Schaefer, our poet laureate of the Monday Night Comedy Show. Buy his newest book, The Lazy Butt Coloring Butt. I know I will bring it and show it to you all once it arrives at my home. So thank you, performers. Thank you, Nanotaka Studios, St. Mercy Victor, and Greg Morgan. And Jeff was here earlier helping us out, and of course, St. May of the Underground, one more time for her. St. May. And of course, K-Money, the motherfucking hawk. We love you. Thank you for reading the Book Club page this week. We'll see you next week. Thank you, audience, for tuning in. If you liked it, spread the love, tip the performers, otherwise share the events and get the word out. Because we rely on word of mouth advertising, and we appreciate you watching. Stay awesome. We'll see you February 1st, next Monday, for show number 609. Stay awesome, everybody. Be healthy.
Citizens of the planet, the Monday Night Comedy Show is the longest running comedy showcase in the Twin Cities.
My advice to you, start drinking heavily.
Well, hello, Mr. Fantasy.
Our choices have sometimes been questionable.
This goes out to all those people who didn't believe in me when I was just starting out.
Fun show, guys.
Now I'm going viral.
We were once called the weirdest show in town, and over the years, we lost some of that. We're happy to announce that bringing the weird back to the MNCS is an item on our to-do list. We ask that you take a chance and watch us each week at 8 p.m. Central. We're not only going to bring you a safe and fun way to see performers from all over the metro area, but all over the country and the world. We are the Monday Night Comedy Show. We've been doing this for over 13 years, so we almost sort of have an idea of how this works. Stay awesome, and see you Monday.